afternoon and welcome to the afternoon edition. My name is Isa Nu. Today we shall be focusing still on the issue of managing protest, and most especially when it becomes violent. And these are issues that are very, very important to Nigerians with respect to the outcome of the protest that has dwindled down. And then we've seen so many protesters in some states trying to hijack institutions, facilities that doesn't actually that belongs to the government, and this is not a very good omen for Nigerian protesters. Taking what doesn't belong to you is not the best for our society, because we have so many issues in the country, and if we are actually protesting on issues like these, national issues, you'll be able to coordinate yourself to see that, yes, at the end of the day, the government listens to you. But then, we've seen so many violent protests. But then, unfortunately, just 2 days back, something happened in Zaria where a young child was shot dead by a soldier in Zaria, and definitely it rang so much bell in the country as at yesterday. And just this morning, I was also informed that the family members will be having a meeting with the GOC in Basawa Barracks in Zaria. His name is Ismail Muhammad, who was shot during the process whereby the soldiers were trying to see that, yes, resident of Samaru community maintains law and order when the curfew was stated by the governor. But then for shooting a very young child of within the age of 16, 17, definitely something that many Nigerians rose to the occasion to say, no, this is not what they signed for. But today we'll be having that conversation with Honorable Fowobi Desmond to tell us more about the issue of protest and how we can manage it. But then we'll go on a very short break, and when we return, we start the conversation.
Mr. President, last Saturday, the country which I have the honor to represent, the Federation of Nigeria, became independent and assumed the rights and the responsibilities of a sovereign state. Today, Nigeria has been admitted into the United Nations organization and assumes still more responsibilities. I wish to make our position plain beyond any matter of doubt as regards the African continent. We in Nigeria appreciate ourselves and be able really to devote all our resources to the advancement of mankind, but we ourselves are utterly forgotten. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome back from that mark break, and just before the break, I told you we'll be focusing on how we can use protest to achieve what we intend to. And I remember Honorable Desmond in one of our programs, this states that yes, protest is good, but the issue is that what about if it is being hijacked by persons of other interest? And this is one of the major reasons why we are having him here today, to tell us more about what is his observation during the last protest, and also to respond to issues regarding how security personnel should conduct themselves during protest. So Desmond, good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon edition.
Good afternoon, Isa. Good afternoon, Nigerians. I'm happy to be here in the studio this afternoon.
Okay, it's very great having you here today because of issues that were coming out of that particular protest. Before the protest, we had a conversation, and then you kicked against protest not having a face. That's the leaders. People were saying that everybody is a leader. It is impossible for you to manage an affair where there is no leadership. And this way of fear. But looking at what happened in Kano State, in Gombe State, in Kaduna State, what were your summation at the end of the day?
You see, I believe in proactiveness, not just actions, but also in thinking. I am one of the people who believed in thinking outcomes of every action, because for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. I was not against protest. I believe that it is one of the components of democracy towards seeking for redress. But another thing you need to factor into your thinking is your community, your environment, and the level of the maturity of the young people. I am a Nigerian, and I relate with a lot of people, the Nigerian people, the youth population. What is the level of the maturity of these young people? When you understand their level of maturity, then you'll be able to make certain decisions that is critical to salvaging the situation. And that was why I said we shouldn't go for protest. Instead of protest, we should embrace dialogue, because most protests that I've seen across the world always end in dialogue. When we already knew that the end bad governance protest in Nigeria may likely end in dialogue, why then do we have to sponsor that kind of thing to cause wanting lives and property, destruction of lives and properties? That was why I knew that it is not going to be easy for us in this country to manage protest. I knew that there will be destruction of properties. I knew that life will be lost, but I never knew where it will come from, whether in the southwest, in the southeast, in the northwest, or in the north central. Unfortunately, the scenario that occurred in Kaduna State, in Kano State, in Gombe State is that beats my understanding and is so pathetic, because even the people who are proposing this protest, they knew that they don't have the capacity. The government do not have the capacity. We are talking about widespread hunger and widespread illiteracy and lack of control of the youth batch. We do not have the capacity as country. We do not have the capacity as organizers of protest to manage the conduct of the people. I am not even talking about being hijacked. The protest is yet to be hijacked. It is the protesters that are fermenting all the troubles you have seen everywhere. They were not sponsored. They were the protesters. And you will expect to get that kind of behavior from them because, one, of their level of maturity, number two, level of education, number three, managing the huge population. I've seen stampedes. I've seen situations where there was no protest. In churches, people died because of stampedes, because of lack of management of crowd control during the immigration in 2014. You see, you don't bring people together without proper management and expect that they will conduct themselves peacefully. It's not possible. There is no notion like peaceful protest anywhere in the world. Let's not buy into that. You cannot have a peaceful protest, even in the educated North. Talking about UK, talking about America, talking about all this place, talking about France. You can't have a peaceful protest anywhere in the world. The least is having it in Nigeria. You can't.
No, but when you say you can't have a peaceful protest anyway, but we've seen situations, even in the UK, where people go out to the protest. Apart from the riots,
it wasn't peaceful. No, there was looting of shops and everything in the UK. It was there in the media.
No, I'm not referring to this last one that happened. In the past, we've seen situations where people actually go out to protest. And even in Sweden, in Austria, you see them protest. But then you don't actually see this level of violence.
I did say something earlier, that you have to tap into the psychology of the Nigerian youth. Our youth are bedeviled with widespread of illiteracy, especially in the north. And that is what is haunting us in this 21st century. This protest did go on in different parts of Nigeria. Why do we have this horrible result from the north? Because of the level of poverty, level of education, and all that. And that is why I have always said, why not go for dialogue instead of going for protest and coming back to dialogue?
But people have also countered, because I've also listened to this same narrative, and people have also countered it, that even that of the NSAS, that there was issue of same problem, destroying of public buildings, stealing of properties and the rest. So is it that generally when you look at the statistics, you tend to wonder, majority of those people who carry out this particular act are within the age of 16 to 35, or even less than that. So how can we play a major role to actually inform people on the better way of protesting? You suggested a myth the other day. You said on social media, on Twitter, people can protest. But I remember the other guest I had said, no, that will not be enough.
You knew Dr. Betta Edu,
yes,
the then Honorable Minister of Humanitarian, was hosted out of that office as a result of protests by Nigerians on the social media, Twitter, Facebook, and the likes. People went to protest against wrongdoings in the office and demand from Mr. President for her removal. And Mr. President saw that cry, that protesting people from the internet, and did the needful. See, let me tell you, we need to understand what they call community organizing. We need to be organized as community, as people. The social media is a community. We need to start thinking of how to organize the social media that we can build a virtual community. You don't understand what I'm saying? We need to grow to a certain level on the social media and build a viable, a controllable society. We need to take charge of the social media as a physical place. We need to understand that there is so much power in the social media. There is nobody you will drag like a generator on the social media that will not be scared of his life. Because the social media goes viral. And the essence of protesting is because you want to seek redress and you want to show to the world, you want to show to the people concerned that you are angry. And who tells you that the people you are trying to call attention are not on social media? The president is there, the vice president is there, all the ministers are there, all the governors are there, their essays are there. Everybody is on the social media. But one thing we are lacking presently is lack of organization. We need to start organizing that community for a productive engagement. We need to start taking advantage of technology. I think that is what we need now in Nigeria.
But in this particular case, when you talk about technology, you talk about proper organization and the rest of it.
Yes.
It all boils down still to this particular enlightenment role that we have to play as a society, of which the National Orientation Agency, I believe they should be doing more than what they are doing currently. And then you also look at the issue of education, which is very key, because for you to enlighten people, you have to create a means of education.
Yeah. And
that, for me, actually played a significant role with respect to this last protest. If people are not educated, you see them going haywire.
Issa, you need to understand something, and it is very critical to national growth and development, and that is the office of the Orientation Agency, National Orientation Agency. If I am the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and I have good intention, because it is difficult to solve a problem when you don't know the roots. Our national orientation in Nigeria today is a mess, a mirage of a nation. Our general perception, understanding, and view about the Nigerian society by the Nigerians is a real problem to us. A lot of Nigerians do not even understand what is our value system. They do not understand the role of diversity. They do not understand the role of tolerance. They do not understand the role of inclusivity. They do not understand the role of participation and sacrifice in nation building. Whose job or whose responsibility it is? The National Orientation Agency. The last time I checked, when I had an engagement with the DG, he was lamenting underfunding, and it is indeed true, and it was deliberate. It was deliberate by some leaders that we have in the past. They under-sponsor that agency so that they won't live up to their expectation, so that they want to create an informed society, an educated society, so that they can become instruments of destruction, instruments that will be ready for their own self-issues. And that is the reason why that particular agency did not get the proper attention by the presidency. If I happen to be the president, the first thing I need to correct is give them massive employment. I don't need to employ into police, into Nigerian army. I need to employ more people, sound people, themselves. I need to become Nigerians into that agency. And I'll make sure that I do it in every local government. I will make sure that I give them the befitting offices in the 7 countries government, where there will be facilities for people to come in, to play games, watch football, and all that. So it's easy to meet young people from the community level and give them and instill them the national value, the national knowledge, the teaching of the strategy, and give them the information about for government policies and activities. All this is what is done. This process that is going right now is a result of this information for now credibility information. And that's what the national orientation apart from teaching the children of the country, the right to go, the right to go, it's also